What is going on? This is Gabe Spencer again. Another edition of Out of the Blind podcast. So it is, I don't know what the date is. What is the damn date today? It is October 20th when I'm recording this. I'm recording this one by myself, guys. I've had a few guests on here throughout the season, and I thought it was time to do one by myself. I thought it was time to jump on here and really just tell you what's been going on throughout the summer, kind of what I've been doing, where I just got back from, and where I'm headed, and kind of what the plans are this duck season coming up. So, but first off, foremost, I want to thank our main title sponsor, Back Down South Clothing Company up in Lindale. I'm gonna tell you guys, if you guys listen to this podcast, I'm a huge supporter of those guys up there at Back Down South, Michael Sims and that team. Other than them being like phenomenal duck hunters and fellow waterfowlermen, would that be called? I don't know. Waterfowlers, right? Fellow guys like us that do this type of sport and chase these ducks and everything else all over the place. Other than them being really, really great at what they do, they also make really great clothing. And they're also, they're always coming out with new stuff, new designs. That's one thing that I really like about them. Everything there is really, it's almost like it's like a special edition or like a limited edition. If you like something, you better get it because he's not going to have it in a month, So check those guys out. You can go to backdownsouthclothing.com. You can visit them on Instagram, Facebook, all over. And then at the end, make sure you put in Out of the Blind 15 on your checkout in the coupon code, and that's going to give you 15% off of that order. So definitely a huge shout out to those guys. If you haven't checked them out, check them out. You will not be disappointed. They got waders, they've got shirts, hoodies, hats, duck calls, you name it. They got it. Dog collars, leashes, everything. They got it. So, but no, what's been going on? Everything's been going on. It's been, my real job is, I own a roofing company, Accurate Roof Systems, out of Tyler, Texas. We're all over Oklahoma and Texas. And so that's kind of what, during the off season, that's really what I'm doing. Other than media, with Kimber Creek Media, we're doing all kinds of stuff. So I've really had my head to the grindstone. I just started getting my duck gear together back in August. I'm kind of thankful for that big split. I call it the, third split or whatever you want to call it. But, those months from February to November is when I really have a chance to kind of regroup, get my gear back together, figure out what I broke and what needs to be replaced, what needs to be upgraded. So I've been working on the truck, been upgrading stuff there, stuff with the boat motor and so on and so forth. So it's been really good. Did a lot of fishing this summer, got to go down to the coast with the guys over at Skinny Water Lures. Went down there and fished with them for a while, just murdered the redfish down there in Port Aransas. It was awesome. The guys, Jerry Shin and those guys over there, had a really great time. So I did get to go that. And other than that, travel wise, I didn't do a lot. Went up to Oklahoma a few times, did a little fishing up there, but really, man, I've had my head to the ground, been working, and getting ready. And so I was able to, jump in. So AJ, one of the guys that work here, big time duck hunter, super dude, invited me to go to North Dakota with some other guys. And so I was like, hell yeah, I haven't been to North Dakota yet. I've been to South Dakota, but that was kind of the one on my list that I hadn't had a chance to go to yet. So, AJ met these guys just, I think on Facebook. And I was like, man, like, I don't know. Like, I don't know. It might be kind of sketchy. We're going to go on a long trip with these guys. It was like 26 hours one way. And they were going to go to Minot, North Dakota. So right is my fashion. I was like, hell yeah, let's go. Like, I've never been there. It's going to be badass. So jumped in the truck, met up with them, and headed up there. And we just got back from there a few days ago. So this trip has been pretty fresh since I'm recording this. Super great group of guys turned out to be. We had Chuck. He was from down there in, they called him Cockeye because he had a glass eye, right? He actually got his eye knocked out. I had to ask. It was driving me crazy. I had to figure out, like, how did this guy lose his eye, right? Because I couldn't figure out why he kept having sunglasses on. Well, come to find out, he had a glass eye, which I thought was cool, right? And he tried to explain to me like how he cleaned his eye by putting it in his mouth, which that tripped me out. Luckily I didn't see him do that. That would have really freaked me out. Like, so part of me is a little bit sad that I didn't see it. But the other part of me is glad that I didn't see it. So, but anyway, so we had him, really cool dude. We rode in his truck up there. He had a Boykin with him Jake, that was a really badass little dog. I never got to hunt with one of those kind of dogs before. So it was really cool to see that. And, then we had a couple other guys down from the Texas coast. We had, Bo and Charlie. They have Regulating Outdoors. It's like a clothing brand and just I think it might be a guide service. I'm not 100% sure. I guess I should ask a little more about that. But super cool dudes as well. We rode with them most of the days that we were up there. But anyway, we went up to Minot, South Dakota, or North Dakota, I'm sorry. And we roll in, we stay at this house. And the first thing that happens when we get there is I hear this, like, I hear a vacuum cleaner. What I actually thought it was a blow dryer is what I thought. You know, we got in, we drove straight through. So we get in at like, I don't know, maybe it was like 7 or 8 in the morning. And then we went and scouted. We ran the roads, looking for some birds. We found a good feed. I wouldn't call it a feed because it was on water. So we did find some birds. But then we get back and, you know, it's going to be shower time, dinner time, get ready for the next morning, that kind of stuff, you know, get our gear ready. Well, I hear what I thought was a blow dryer from upstairs. I'm like, who the hell is blow drying the hair? Right? I thought it was one of the dudes blow drying his hair up there. I mean, if you blow dry your hair, cool. I blow dry my hair every now and then. I'm not going to lie to you, or my beard, right? You know, if I'm going someplace nice or maybe someplace that's fancy, I'm going to go there. I might blow dry it. Well, I go upstairs to check this sound out. Well, it's not a blow dryer. It's AJ vacuuming up live flies. Like, there is not just 1 or 2 or 20 flies. There's like 1,000 flies. And it's like a fly I've never seen before. It's like, I called it dead body flies. So I was freaking out because we're in this Airbnb and it's clearly a really old place, right? But it's been redone. And I hear this freaking sound, this whirring woo woo sound, right? So I go up there and I see AJ up there vacuuming up with a cordless vacuum cleaner with like a 3-foot wand on the front of it, but in the bottom of it has a little clear, like a bubble where I guess the dirt would go. And if you look in there, it was full of flies. So instead of him just smashing them, he's pretty smart. He just started vacuuming these some bitches up, like just sucking them up the tube, right? So that was the first, like, not really red flag, but it was like something was different. And so we went out, we hunted the next morning, got up early, you know, went and hunted the next morning. Every day that we were up there, we had a really good hunt. We had, you know, and the thing is up there, if you guys haven't traveled up there to North Dakota, it's different because, you know, everything is private. Of course, there are some public areas that you're allowed to go in and hunt, but if it's not posted, and which means it's not posted, like no trespassing or no hunting at, you know, within I think they said 800 yards or 800 feet or whatever. I think it was 800 yards. If you don't see a no trespassing sign, and then you get on Onyx Hunt Maps, which the state gives you a free, like, I think it's like a 60-day pass to Onyx for North Dakota. It'll be labeled in red, like it'll be highlighted red on the areas that are private. Other than that, you can go hunt it. Like, you can literally just walk out there and hunt that field or hunt that pond, which, you know, being from Texas, you don't do that here. Like, you'll get your ass shot real quick, for just rolling in and hunting a spot. So that's what was really strange. But we did that first day. We had found a big wad of birds, and it was on a pothole, right? We were in the kind of that pothole region, they call it. Well, I was like, man, this is a lot of birds. I gotta call. Like, I need to find whoever this is. Well, I poke around, I get on Facebook, and I finally find this guy, and I call this number. A lady answers. She's like, oh no, here's his phone. This is his wife. You need to call him on his cell. So I got his cell phone number, called him, and he said, no, man, I don't really want anybody hunting out there. I've got cows. I'm like, you know, being a door-to-door salesman that I am, I start, you know, kind of overturning the negatives. And next thing you know, he actually lets us hunt the other pond that's even better, the other little lake that he's got that's even better because he didn't have any cows on. That's the one I really wanted to hunt. And so it worked out really well. And so that's that first day we went in. I think we banged out 24 birds that first day. And it was just kind of a mixed bag, not a ton of mallards, but it was a really fun hunt. And, so then, day 2, day 3, kind of the same thing. But the thing is up there is we were like stricken with like 40 plus mile an hour winds every day. So it was really just, if you guys ever been in wind for a long time, it really starts to get in your head. Like it's just constantly blowing. It actually made the birds work really well. They would come in and try to land in the decoys, but they just had kind of hovered. So it made for some pretty easy shots. So that was definitely a good benefit to it. But, we would go in, we'd set stuff up and by the third day, stuff started to freeze up pretty bad and we were busting ice. And I was with some guys that were from deep South Texas, like Texas coast. Like these guys aren't used to this. They were getting ready to turn into a damn popsicle out there. So they had borrowed some Sitka gear and they were bundled up, man. And I never forget the look on Charlie's face when we went to that first hole that morning and the sucker's iced up. It's like he didn't know what to do with his hands. I'm like, shit, dude, we got to get to breaking ice. So that's what we did. We, started going in there, breaking up ice. And I thought the whole entire kind of marsh was frozen over, but no, we were just really hunting in the only frozen spot. Because we looked to the left and it was a bunch of open water and birds, of course, where'd they go? Right there. But it was too cold we didn't really want to make the move and pick everything up and redo it. So we just kept busting ice in that same spot, and we got them to come in, and we managed to bust out, another 20 bird strap and did really well there. But it was super, just insane cold, and so we got to, in all of my travels, I like to really explore not just the hunting, but I like to check the people out, right? I'm a kind of people person, kind of a food whore a little bit. So I'm trying to check out these different places. Well, they had one of the first places we went to go eat was, it was in I can't remember the name of the damn town. It wasn't very far from maybe like 12, 15 miles I think that was to the west of Minot, North Dakota. But we go into this place and it's they've got some, it's just a normal like cafe, but they had this thing on there. I called it a fleshlight. It wasn't a fleshlight. But it was some kind of, I don't know if she said it was German or I don't know what you call it. It was kind of like if you guys have from down south Louisiana, it's like a meat pie, but it almost had like a hamburger patty in there, but it was spiced up different. It had a weird name and the name sounded like fleshlight. Which I said that to the lady that owned the place, and I think she might have been mildly offended, but it was definitely interesting. But it was awesome. Like it came out and it had it was just it was like a puff pastry with a slab of meat in the middle, and it was good. So that was one of the different things that I had while I was up there. Got to get my hands on some walleye. I saw some different stuff. Tundra swan. I encountered one of those. That was cool. So I saw some stuff like that, but it was definitely different. One of the things that really stood out too about North Dakota is all the damn nuclear missiles that they got up there. It's like they're every like 10 square miles, there's another one and another one and another one and another one. And so that was kind of trippy to see that. And I was like, that's really what it was. So that was pretty cool. But so I definitely saw some different stuff up there. We did go into a cafe. This is pretty funny. Walked into this cafe, but the cafe was, because we were tired of eating this. We ate at one place every day. It was like double eights or something, and they had like a shotgun barrel in the front. I don't know. It wasn't that great. So next door was this cafe. So we go into this cafe. Well, which there's one older lady, like a grandma type. She runs the place, owns the place, cleans the place, does everything in the place. And she had owned this place since like 1984. So we go in, there's 5 of us, I guess. And we go in and there's like I would call it a bar, but I was quickly informed by this lady that this isn't a bar. It is a, what did they call it? It wasn't a bar. It was not a bar. She didn't like me calling it a bar. And so, but it was horseshoe shaped. You had stools all the way around it like a bar, but you can is counter. That's what it was. It was a counter because they're called a counter because they don't serve liquor or beer at it. I guess once alcohol hits it, then it's a bar. I don't know. I don't make the rules here, but so we go to order, sit down. I mean, there's nothing in this place. It doesn't look like anybody's visited it in a month or two. Over in one corner, she's got some, you see those where they put like books into video, like it would be like a really famous book, but now it's on video, like most movies, right? This one is opposite, so that she's done the opposite, and so it's videos to books, and that's what the sign reads. So that was a little different. So I'm over there pilfering around, right, and there was some interesting titles to some of these books, and there was some I would call it knitted crafts over there, stuff that she looks like she's been collecting in this yard sale, like in yard sales maybe around Minot, North Dakota, that she just kind of had pilfered up there. Some old shoes, some like home and garden magazines maybe, just an eclectic little array of odds and ends that no one would want probably. So anyway, I sit down to order, and just ordering a Coke, and she just points me to the refrigerator. So I go get my Coke, whatever, can of Coke. But then you sit down, and she was very how do I explain it? She was very maybe blunt would be the word. It's like you go to order something, and she says I got ordered I think I ordered like onion rings, right? First thing I ordered was a side of onion rings, and she just says, "Nope." That was it. Like, no, like that was the reply. Nope. I'm like, okay, well, what's your soup of the day? Don't have any. Weekends only. I'm like, damn. Okay. So, I like some odd food. So I looked on the menu, and there was liver and onions on there. Now, I know some of you guys are automatically going, oh no, you can't eat that shit. Like, that's disgusting. Well, I kind of grew up eating that. And so a good plate of liver and onions is pretty badass to me. So I'm going to try it. I figured this was a, liver and onions kind of place. She looked like a liver and onions kind of gal, right? Well, as soon as I order it, she just says disgusting. Like looked at me in disgust. And it was like disgusting. I'm like, well, I guess you don't sell much of that? Nope. I'm like, okay. Well, what was your side? What do you want for a side? I said, mashed potatoes and gravy. Don't got it. I'm like, dang. I said, would it be easier for me to order would it be easier for you to tell me what you do have? So, it was just that kind of deal. Like these people are different. Like in Texas and in the South, she was very nice. She's just blunt, I guess. So I didn't know how to take it. So that was kind of like one of those weird things of like, what the hell kind of place? You never know what you're going to walk into. The last day we were there, last night we were there, we found this like steak place. It was in it wasn't even on like a Google search. It wasn't anywhere. We go in there, and it's pretty full. Like it's busy. And so I was like, dang, every person in the town is in this place. So we go in there. I meet this dude. His name was Lee. He was like 84 years old, duck hunter, been duck hunting this place his whole life. So I got to hang out with him and talk to him for like 2 hours. Super, super cool dude. Got to tell me a bunch of old duck hunting stories about when they, even they got to shoot with lead and all this stuff. I mean, we got to talking about, everything duck hunting over the years. And that was really cool to actually sit down with a guy like that and kind of pick his brain on just the history of waterfowling up in that area, and, how he sees stuff that's changed. And it's really, really interesting to get to meet with somebody like that. And as I'm sitting there talking to him, there's the lady that owns this bar, restaurant, whatever you would call it, comes by with a cardboard box. And in this cardboard box is Nerf guns. And she starts handing out Nerf guns. Like, this shoots the little darts, so like the little blue with the orange tip dart, right? These are just single shots, not like the big Nerf gun. But she starts just passing this out. So I'm like, and you get about 3 bullets per gun. I thought, what the hell is this? Now, I'm going to describe this bar to you, restaurant, whatever. Imagine if you guys have ever seen like an old Western, right? An old Western bar where you've got like maybe the saloon doors, take that part out. But when you walk in, you got a poker game. full bore poker game going on. They had that, like for like a faux real poker game going, right? For money. So, and then they had some slot machines. Then they had they had the bartender in the back. Everybody had a knife on them, almost everybody, or a weapon of some sort. And then they had wagon wheel for tables. And so this looks like an updated version of the Wild West, I would say, according to what I've seen in movies. So that was, and then, that's kind of what I first see. Well, then they start handing out these pistols, these Nerf gun pistols. Well, I was kind of intrigued by it because nobody's really shooting each other yet. Well, I talked to the lady that's the owner. She says, well, everybody drinks because that's all they have to do up here. Well, after hours, some people can get a little, things might get a little tense, a little rowdy. People have been drinking. So we just started handing out these Nerf guns to kind of slows, kind of makes people a little happier. They can kind of maybe take some aggression out. People have a lot of good time. About that time, I get shot in the face. Right. So, so I'm loading these pistols up. Now all of a sudden we've got a full-fledged Nerf gun war in a bar in North Dakota. And it was probably one of the highlights of my entire trip, in all my travels, even, just a lot of fun. So big shout out. If you guys go to Minot, North Dakota, there's a steakhouse downtown. Go check it out. Can't remember the name of it. Maybe Hamburgerville. I don't know. It was something like that. Hamburger Shed. But they don't have hamburgers. I don't even think it had a name. Honestly, I don't think it even had a name. It was just one of those, hey, look, let's build this and stick some steak in there and we'll let people shoot people with Nerf guns. So that was really cool. And I talked to people about, the weather and how it gets negative 40 degrees up there and what do they do? And they told me, I'm not even going to get into exactly what all they do, but it was pretty cool. I mean, it's kind of intense, but they don't have a lot to do up there when it gets that cold. But we went in, banged on some mallards last 2 days, ended up shooting 104 birds in 5 days. Last 2 days were just bangers every day. And we really had a great time. Drove back to Texas and that was kind of the wrap. It was a lot of fun. I met some really, really great people, met some interesting people and just had a great time. And, but I'm ready, I'm ready for duck season coming up. I noticed that when I drove through the Midwest, which I drove it all from North Dakota all the way back to Texas, man, I didn't see any water. Platte River was dry. I didn't really see any water at all. So I don't know, what that's going to do to this year's duck season. I guess we'll, stay tuned. We'll find out, but it's definitely going to be interesting. I've hunted drought conditions before and I've done really, really well in them. It's just, you just have to adjust and just find the birds. They're going to be somewhere. And as long as you just got to figure out how to hunt them once you find them. But there's a lot of different things. I've hunted a lot of mud flats, which is hard walking, hard to hide. There's different strategies to get on those type of birds. But, I don't know what's coming down the pipe. I'm going to be heading up, to Oklahoma, Missouri, Arkansas, Kansas. That's kind of my stomping ground a little bit. So I'm going to be heading out there in a couple weeks, a few days before season. Going to start scouting and see what I can find. But no, I'm really excited about it. It was a good summer. I did actually, forgot to say, I went to Maine. That was pretty interesting. Did some lobstering and I wouldn't call it lobstering. I went on a lobster boat and we caught like 4 lobsters. I don't want to sound like I'm a lobsterman. It was not that, but it was pretty cool. We got stranded up there me and my family got stranded up there for a few days, extra. So we ended up being up there like 10 days when we were supposed to be like 4, which is okay. We beat the summer heat and, had some really badass food. And, I tried to go up there and catch some striper on a fly rod. Didn't work. Jumped in the Atlantic. It was the most cold water I've ever been in my life. I don't know how those people swim in that stuff, but it was really cool. I met a knife maker, Zay Knives. If you guys ever want to check out a really badass kitchen knife that's all handmade, check those guys out, Zay Knives up there in Maine. Got to meet him, went to his house, watched him make some knives, picked up a really badass kitchen knife from him. And just really met some cool people. I like to travel, like to see this type of stuff. So I wanted to jump on this podcast and just really kind of give you guys a recap. I know I get a lot of mail and a lot of emails, and messages on Instagram on, hey, when's the next podcast? And I apologize. I need to get on these a lot more. So if you know guests or anybody that wants to jump on here, anybody that's interesting, odd, out of the ordinary, I'd love to talk to them. I'd love to put them on this show. So definitely shoot me a message. I'd love to be able to answer people's questions. I'd love to just really jump into any of that type of stuff. But, if you need, like I said, reach out to me. Want to thank my sponsors again, Back Down South Clothing over in Lindale. Really appreciate everybody listening to this podcast. Check us out on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, anywhere you find podcasts, we will be there. My name's Gabe Spencer. This is Out of the Blind. Share it, like it, subscribe to us, YouTube, all of it. And I will catch you guys on the next one. Wait till duck season. We're going to have a lot more stories, a lot more cool stuff. See you guys on the next one.